hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin in the eye, seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you, why? Just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of sound, I cross the land just to tell you, don't leave the way, don't leave a stay. Then I try with a shadow playing the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Talk. We are here for the Agatha finale. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined by my tag team partner. Well, 2/3 of him right now, as he seems to be a little bit frozen. He might be having some internet issues, but that'll be okay. We will get that figured out. That is indeed Andre C. We are having some technical issues with Andre's internet. It'll all get sorted out. We're here to talk about the finale, which we both very much so disagree with each other. So we're going to have a nice spirited conversation about that. We are also going to go ahead and have a look ahead to both Marvel Talk and Marvel Entertainment in 2025 and the rest of 2024, as it appears, as Marvel's going to spring one more show on us before the end of the year. So we're going to go ahead and watch that trailer together as well and talk about what we have coming up in the future. Right now, we're just waiting for Andre to load back in. He's coming back in right now. Everything appears to be all set now. The technical issues that are plaguing us seem to be all set. We should be good to go.
Mm-hmm. I've already thrown my hat across the room.
Yep. Yeah. We've both thrown it. Yeah. But we're here. We're here to talk about the Agatha finale. And boy, do we have some thoughts on the Agatha finale.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk. And after this, we're going to talk about the fun stuff coming up in the future for Marvel Talk.
Yes, I had already, while you were gone, I was going ahead and vamping with all the 2024 and 2025.
I apologize about my internet issues.
No, it's okay. Like I said, technical issues are what they are, and we'll get those all sorted out. We should be good to go for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So this episode starts with, I believe, this was Jen trying to get back in to the last trial.
Yeah, because the door had shut
Yeah, because
on
Lilia
her.
had closed the door and then
Yeah.
everything happened. So now we're seeing the end of that trial from Jen's point of view, where Jen's banging on the door trying to get back in. Billy comes up. He wants to know what's going on. She explains what's going on. And then we hear the room flip and we hear, ironically, one body, essentially. We hear one. We don't hear a ton of them, which I
So,
thought we
so did
would
the
for the
Salem
Applebaum season
Seven
2.
actually die then?
According to Rio, it sounded like that, but we'll get to Rio in a bit.
That's true.
After this, we go to Rio and Agatha outside the trial. They've already left the trial and they're on the road again, as we should say.
On the road again.
Yes,
Can't
like
wait
we
to
are
get on the road again.
We find out here that Agatha has promised bodies to Rio. And that's fine and great. We kind of already knew that. What we didn't know is that one of those bodies is Billy, because Billy is something that doesn't belong in this world. And more importantly, death can't kill Billy Maximoff / William Kaplan.
Well, technically, Billy Kaplan is dead. Or William Kaplan is dead. His spirit is gone. She has claimed, death has claimed that. But Billy has the ability to resurrect. So unless he chooses to die, like he chooses to go with death, he'll just reincarnate. Is what Agatha says.
And that seems to be the same idea that Rio gives us. So Agatha promises Rio that she'll convince him to give himself up at the end of the road.
Yeah.
Which leads us into the final trial. Which we both disagree upon because of the fact that Andre feels that there's not enough action.
I don't think it was written well. I don't, because again, I sat there and just I legitimately I had to go back 10 minutes because I fell asleep during the scene. I found it so boring. Like to me, there was literally nothing going on except two people crying in this scene. To me, it's just Billy and what's her face whining, crying. We get the reveal of Agatha, which I when you said he was locked out, I kind of got an inkling it might have been Agatha's fault, but I wasn't sure about it early on, so I kind of let it out of my brain.
Yep.
But because Agatha is kind of the worst. But I looked at it as it's just them just crying and disappearing, and I found it more annoying and dull than anything. I don't know.
Yeah, and to me, I liked the emotional ties that this has to the rest of the show, where we get this conclusion for Jen, because we really don't go back to Jen for either the rest of these two episodes. And I like that
one quick scene in 9, I think.
Yeah, she comes out of the ground in 9, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I like that she gets her little emotional send-off here. We close out her story really nicely, too, with finding out that Agatha did it. We find her taking her power back from Agatha. Maybe not in the most entertaining way, but to me, I like the emotion of it all, and it made me feel something, which to me is one of the more important things in a show to do.
And I wanted for her moment to be so much bigger in getting her power back, that to me her moment felt so shortchanged here. Is that all she did? I don't agree with Like a Spice, though. It's not true. It's a great show. Don't get me wrong. Swamp Thing was great.
I still haven't seen the new Swamp Thing.
I did. It was great, but I find again, I feel like Jen was short. Like I feel Alice got shortchanged in her death. We did get a reveal of death coming for Alice after this, and Kirk and then her being told, "You're a protection witch, so you died protecting somebody," and her kind of almost getting a realization of, and so she did go out on her sword. Alice did go out on her sword. Uh,
Not quite the way Lilia went out on her swords, but
no, but you know what I mean. Lilia literally went out on the swords, sacrificing herself for everybody,
yeah,
which was a great ending.
Yeah.
Sharon Davis, she didn't really deserve a giant exit. 'Cause she just
nope.
it was so
She got
early,
what
and
she got what she needed.
yeah, and she was there, got what she needed emotionally out of it, and it was fine. I just feel like Jen's ending, she's so heartbroken after the loss of Lilia, and then she's just yelling at her, just constantly just yelling
Yeah.
that for, and it's just, and I'm like, this is all, and then she disappears. I'm like, that's all she's gonna get here. That's all she gets to get her powers back. I felt like, oh my, this was nothing.
Yeah.
Like I know she went through the entirety of all the trials
Yeah.
and everything. It just I felt it should have been more grand. I don't know. I felt hers was shortchanged.
Yeah, I can see that point of view. I think that, like I said, I slightly disagree. I think that the emotion of it with her, because as she keeps yelling it, like the emotion keeps changing from strong and powerful to angry to back to being strong and powerful to at the end almost resigning that she wasn't going to be able to do it. And it's almost in tears to finally that last, resolute, you have no power over me, and taking back her power. And I'm like, to me, that did a lot, and it did a lot for her character, and I thought that was interesting. I liked the interchange here with Billy and Agatha when they go to Billy's portion of this. And again, yes, it's two people sitting here, and she's leading him through essentially a guided meditation. Let's be honest, it's nothing more than a guided meditation.
Yeah.
But I like in this that she's helping him, even though she knows she's leading a lamb to slaughter. She's still kind of helping him along, and she's trying to get him where he needs to be. And he gets there reluctantly, and not of the ways he wanted to, where he's trying to find a body for Tommy to go into, and he finds a boy who's not loved, who's not protected. And these are the things that Billy is saying about this child's life, that he's missing love. He doesn't have protection. He's being bullied at the pool, and he gets shoved into the pool, into the water, and he's essentially going to drown. And Billy transfers Tommy into this body. We assume we don't ever actually know if it works, but that's what the implication they're giving to us.
Yeah.
And Billy asks the question right as he's getting done with it. Did I just kill someone to bring back my brother?
He did. I'm on that point. He killed him. He killed that boy.
I think the bully who pushed him in the water and the bullies in the water might have killed him more. But yes, I think Billy might have had something to do with it, but not nearly as much as
if he really wasn't like pushing his brother's spirit into him too much, maybe the spirit would have held on, and he would have held on and lived as if you're going by comics, as maybe Thomas Shepard would have lived, and it isn't Tommy Maximoff in that body. Maybe.
We do have, I don't want to discount this. We were in the middle of our discussion here. Milestone News says, do you think they stuck the landing in the finale? Yes and no.
I do.
Andre vehemently agrees that they absolutely stuck the finale.
Was it perfect? No. But I thought they told a good story. And I think
with a little bit of editing, I think they could have done a slightly better job with some story placement being in different places. Even if we meant that we got the story in bits and pieces over the course of all the episodes, which I think what we should have done.
I can agree to that. I will agree that the story could have been told throughout the season, having maybe in like episode 4 or 5 start introducing Nikki and telling the story of Agatha and her son. I agree with that, and maybe we could add episode 8 plus with the tail end of episode 9 just could have all been episode 9, or maybe they could have just done with 8 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a way to look at it in both ways. Episode 9, while it has amazing storytelling value, I think if you had drip fed us this through the course of the show, I think it really would have been an interesting thing. And then you can save the best parts of 9, like the stuff that's storyline for what we're dealing with on the show. I think you could have had at the very end of 8, maybe even as a post-credit scene. and I think you really could have done this in a better way.
Well, and we'll get to it in 9. And
Yeah,
I'll
we'll get
speak
to it
what
in 9.
I'll speak to what I think could have been in 8 and what could have been the post credit. But yeah, but again, and then Agatha, because so Billy disappears from the room.
Yep.
And Agatha now has to figure out, and she opens the thing showing the little bit of hair, and I assumed of her son.
Mhm.
And then there was a little seedling that I guarantee the room put it in there.
Mhm.
Or the trial put it in there because
Mhm.
remember they got their effects out of the body bags when they came into the room. So she plants it in because when Wiccan disappears, the floor like cracks. Is that what
Yep.
happened?
The floor
Yeah.
crack. Yeah.
I don't know if he did it or she did. I didn't realize what had happened there. Excuse me. And she plants the seed in the ground, and within the last light, a dandelion comes up, and I'm like, really, a goddamn weed? I was like, come on, could have been at least been a real good flower, not a weed.
We do have Kevin Davis both saying that Agatha Long will get Emmy nomination, if for nothing else other than costumes, because most of the costumes in this entire show were bang on and fantastic.
The costumes, I think it could easily get a music.
Yep.
Catherine and the rest of the crew could.
I can see that absolutely.
Yeah.
But he says his finale was good. B+. I'd give it a B+ or an A-. Yeah, I think, like I said, me saying they didn't stick the landing is basically saying like it's not an A+. I'm like that A- B+ territory. I'm somewhere like the high 80s, low 90s on how I feel about the finale. The whole show as a whole was epic and fantastic and beautiful. Speaking of people who are epic, fantastic, and beautiful, we got the wonderful Ophelia Payne jumping in here. Dandelions are fast-growing, resilient, and determined.
Yeah, but they're weeds, and they're weeds. They're a bane to my yard every year when I have to constantly be pulling them because my neighbors don't take care of the yard, and they blow in my yard and they ruin my goddamn yard. Dandelions ruin everything.
Well, as long as it's dandelions ruining everything and not me, I think we're good. We move on to the next portion as Agatha does get out of the trials. They feed the bees.
Yeah,
And she
and
says,
I don't like bees. But so do regular flowers. Other flowers feed bees too, so no.
Speaking of other flowers, in a moment we'll get to more flowers as we talk about what happens after the battle.
Ooh.
But we get to the battle. And this was an intriguing battle, shall we say the least, from my point of view.
It's not the greatest battle, but it's my favorite part. It's what I enjoy most in this episode is what happens here and the post battle stuff. Yeah.
So it starts with Rio basically saying, look, you promised me a body. He's not here, so I'm taking you instead.
Yeah. And I love the cameos from the WandaVision people because I literally just finished watching WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, I just finished it because I just started Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was like, because was it episode 1 was the black dude, or episode 2 was Herb, and then we saw the other people from a distance, and then in this one we got the dude that worked at Vision's office and the mustache dude, like saying, "Oh my, it's happening again!" Like it was the sky's all green. I laughed so hard at that.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really fun. We then get them started battling, and we get the callback to Lilia telling her that when she calls you a coward, hit the deck. And Agatha hears the coward, and she remembers that Lilia said it, and she repeats the line. And then she hits the deck, and she avoids getting hit by everything, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, because when she said, because it pulled that line from, I can never remember names when I need to remember them.
Lilia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this problem at work with people I work with, and I'm like and I cannot. And these are people I interact with every day, and I can never remember their names. What is wrong with me? Jesus.
We then get to a battle of sorts as Wiccan shows up in full Wiccan attire. Not not my favorite version of the Wiccan attire, but I'm hoping that as we continue with the character, we'll get better attire for him.
Yeah.
Because
I put it in as this is his if you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, his
Yeah.
homemade suit. This is
Yeah.
his homemade suit. This is his first magicking of his suit onto his body. And
Yeah.
we'll get I feel like we're going to get a better version when we eventually get Young Avengers or whatever comes of the future of Mr. Maximoff.
we'll
slash
probably see him
Kappa.
in Secret Wars if nothing else.
It's possible.
I mean, I'm assuming we're going to see everybody in Secret Wars.
The Russos did say that they're going to get as many in, but maybe not everybody shows up.
All right. Well,
So
Billy
as long as we don't see the Defenders, I'm all good.
oh, but come on, we need to have bad magic version of what's his name?
I'm cool. I'm
Danny
cool with
Rand.
Iron Fist being there. Danny Rand's fine. It's
No,
Luke Cage
Danny
that I
Rand-
don't want. It's Luke
Oh,
Cage
I
that I
love
don't
Luke
want.
Cage. Luke Cage was
I-
great.
I'll say this. It's a hot take. It was my least favorite of all the series. Was Luke Cage. It's
I-
also
I-
the character. It's also the character I have the least amount of connection to. It's a character
Yeah.
I barely read at all. Where I enjoyed Iron Fist comics, and I didn't hate Finn Jones. Unlike other
I
people.
didn't hate Finn Jones. To me, when you're doing Iron Fist, you kind of have to do Iron Fist hand in hand with Luke Cage. I don't like either of them separate. I want them both together all the time because they are a mercenary group by themselves, kind of thing. Heroes for hire.
I agree. I
love
agree.
the Heroes
They
for
should have
Hire.
just done Heroes for Hire as their
They
series.
really should have, and it would have been so much better.
Just them meeting and like starting to hang out and do shit together. That would have been That would have made it much better. But back
But
to
we're not-
the MCU.
We're not here to rebook the Netflix stuff. We're worried about
We
that.
we need to do something of that sort to
Yes, but
need
we
to do
have a
video.
very busy 2025 ahead of us. We don't have time.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2026 we can rebook the MCU Netflix shows. Anyways, we get to
Yeah,
the
no, that was
battle.
great.
We get to the battle with the three of them. They're going back and forth. Why don't you go ahead and talk about the things that you really liked about this portion of the battle?
I think I liked this battle so much because I was very bored by the trial, or as Ed says, the second to last trial, because the battle with death is the final trial according to Ed.
Sort of.
But and I enjoyed it, and the way I thought, because Wiccan gives Agatha the powers, and I'm like, Agatha, I'm literally sitting there go, don't take all his power. Don't take all his power. I'm just literally saying that as she's doing it, and then she stops.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she stopped, and I enjoyed that. I very much. And then her and Death's fight wasn't that grand. Don't get me wrong. I just enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the trial.
I see, because here's the thing: we know how they know how to do witches' battles because we saw the battle between her and Wanda in WandaVision. And I felt like if this is what we were leading to, and this is kind of the big emotional finale for these two characters in this portion, then I felt like they could have gone a little bit bigger in scale with some of the special effects, with some of the way they were doing the fights choreography. You know what I'm saying?
But to that point, that is a 100 million plus show.
Yeah.
Versus which, they spend a lot of that 100 million in the back half of that show, because the first half of this show was like, I would say episode 4, and then episodes 4 through to 9 were where they spent their money. Where this was reported in at 40 million for this entire show. Comparative. Yeah. So I didn't expect that grand. The battle we got was kind of what I expected out of this show.
And like I said, it wasn't to my liking. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but I didn't also hate it either. I was, when I figured we'd finally see Death in battle, and as Andre dies, because he is 2/3 of his way onto a cold, so we're gonna forgive Andre for nearly dying, and hopefully he doesn't die on camera, because that would be bad. We've already had enough deaths on camera tonight.
They didn't get an appearance by Rio.
That would be, you know what? I'll let you die if it means that Aubrey Plaza is going to come in and take your body on camera.
Oh, that'd be great.
No,
No.
The
What,
fight's
no, what
kinda-
we would get is Adam Carolla voicing death is what we would get on Family Guy.
Never mind. I don't want it.
Replacing Norm Macdonald. Who's the original voice.
I didn't love the fight. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it could have been a little bit more. I did love the storytelling of the fight is the part that I love the most about it.
Yeah.
We had Rio.
It was great storytelling in this fight.
Yeah. I just wish that the fight portion had been a little bit better. Like I said, I mean, maybe we give them another $10,000 or $10 million to up that special effect, but just a little bit more to give us a cool ass witch fight. But we didn't get it. However, what we did get to finalize the final portion of Agatha All Along being Marvel's gayest show of all time, we got the kiss of death, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Because she literally tricks Billy into sacrificing himself to death.
Yeah.
And then she starts to walk away, and she literally does her Agatha All Along pose. Like, she does the pose and then turns to walk away. And he does his telepathy to, like, come on, think about Nikki. And I don't know. I heard Nikki. I can't remember exactly what he said. But it has something to do with Nikki. And she turns and then walks right up to Rio and kisses her, and essentially killing herself. And the death scene was actually kind of cool. She gets risen up in the air. She's being enveloped in this black like smoke, and then falls back to the ground. And then the earth just envelops her as you see her turn to a skeleton. And then the earth envelop her, and what were the flowers that she said?
They felt like lilacs. Oh, and Ophelia Payne jumping in here to help us out. Is this how Nikki died? Remember, at this point, he's still among the idea that she sacrificed Nikki. So he asks her, "Is this how you did it to Nikki?"
Oh, that's what he said.
Like you're conning me.
And we'll find out. In a very touching story.
And it's a very touching
a little long, but a touching story.
Yeah.
It was a little long, I'll admit that. But yeah, and then she's enveloped by the earth, and she mentioned a flower earlier in the episode, and I feel like that's what those were. Because she mentioned a flower earlier.
She wanted azaleas, and I don't think those were azaleas.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
I know at the very end of the show, in episode 9, it's lilacs on top of Nikki's grave, but I don't feel like those were azaleas on hers either.
Okay,
I could be wrong. I'm not really a flower guy, so we'll have to wait and see if we can get some flower people in the chat to go ahead and let us know about that, because that's not an area of my forte. We do, however, get.
Is that Grogu in the background?
Yeah.
I just noticed that. Has that always been there?
No, it just went there about a week or so ago.
Okay, it's like
I
just noticed that for the first time.
So we get Billy walking out of the house now because Death tells him to go. And by the way, I love that on Halloween we're getting the up close and like really good looks at Rio's death, and it's so much better than I thought it was last week.
The bottom half of the face. Oh,
with skull face. It reminds me of the Dia de los Muertos stuff as we're coming up to November 1st, the Day of the Dead for all of those people, the Hispanic community, and the Latino community. But as we're getting to that area, I love the fact that she kind of has that, embracing her culture a little bit in this character, which I think is fine, because death can really appear, like you said last week, in any form to anybody. And I like the idea that Aubrey Plaza is using this to kind of embrace her culture. However, we get Billy walking out of the house with all of the town coming to see what's going on because all the stuff is let up again. And just like his mother, he walks out and he starts to walk past the people, and it's hood up, walk straight, say nothing to nobody. Mm-hmm. And then he gets in his car and just drives home.
The symmetry of it was actually nice. Like I
I
like
did. I
like
really liked that.
because
It was very good.
I noticed it because I just finished watching WandaVision. I'm like, he just did what she did at the end.
Yeah, except that he didn't fly. He got in his car and drove. But yeah,
Yeah.
same idea.
And then there was a cutaway scene around here that that showed no, that was in the next episode. Never
It's in the
mind.
next episode where Jen comes out.
My brain just
There's a
skipped
lot
a
of
whole
back
bunch.
and forthing in that we're doing throughout the rest of
Yeah.
it. So we get to Billy, and he goes back home, and he talks to his parents, and he convinces them to let him go. And he goes and takes a shower. He goes back into his room, and we really get to see every corner of his room. Like, we got to see some of it before, but we now get to see like every corner of the room. And it starts putting together a theory that Jessica, I forget what her name is, on New Rockstars. Yeah, I can't remember her name right now. But Jessica, who works with Eric Voss on all of these recaps and a lot of the other things that are Marvel based over there, she had brought up a few weeks ago is the road all a figment of Billy's or something that Billy created? Because everything in his room are all the different portions of the road, and they were picking out, the Wizard of Oz toys, the the Woo poster, the fact that he had all the different colored leaves, the big tree, everything that kind of appeared on the road.
The picture, which was that where the first trial was set.
Yeah, but I don't think we saw that the first time. I think that's one of the new things that we got added in this time.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was going to say, back then, she was mentioning a bunch of these things that she saw, and she was like, I think that the road was created around Billy, and that the road is somehow tied to Billy. And she didn't quite know how or what. And in this episode, we find out.
At this point, I was like, okay, maybe the road manifested to the person who desires most. And that's what I was thinking at the end of this episode, is that the road constructed itself to Billy's because he wants the want of his brother is stronger than anybody else's want for heading into the road.
Yeah,
that was not the thought that I had coming out of episode 9.
No. There's nothing out the episode. But I love how we got these little looks around his room. We see the Trans Live Matter flag. We see
which is the second time we've seen it in a Marvel, I guess, a Marvel/Sony production.
Yeah, because it was also
they did it in Gwen's world, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lord and Miller had it in Gwen's room on the top of her door frame in Across the Spider-Verse. I loved seeing all the little things. We had the craft poster. We had the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Wizard of Oz stuff. There was all kinds of great little things around his room. But
the movie, the poster from the movie The Craft is in there.
That's what I said. The Craft.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry, I missed you on that.
It's all good. All good. But yeah, so we get all this, and this is where we get a jump scare where somebody says "boo," and then I get a commercial break, but you obviously go straight through to Agatha being Force Ghost Agatha behind him.
Well, it doesn't. It didn't show it for me on 8.
Oh, was that the dead end when he hits boo?
The boo was the end. With you heard the boo, and it's Agatha's voice, but then it cut right to credits for me.
Oh, okay. It probably did. Like I said, because of the fact that I have ads in between everything, it gets convoluted sometimes of where things end, especially with these double episodes.
Yeah.
Again, episode 8. While we both think it had its flaws, we can both agree that it was a really well told story episode really tied a bow on everything we needed.
Yeah, it did great. And then I'm literally sitting. I think it told a good story. And again, as much as I didn't care for the trial, it did what it needed to do. It got people to where they need. We know Tommy. We assume Tommy now exists in the world because of the trial. And I look, and I'm sitting here going, all right, what's left? And I really did not see the episode we got coming. Well, it ain't I feel we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it, and we'll talk about how I'm with you on the fact that I enjoyed the finale. I thought it was good, but I feel like things could have been broken up a lot differently.
So we get to episode 9. And episode 9 is a fantastic story. It is everything we needed to know and everything we wanted to know. However, in my personal opinion, I feel like it was a bit out of place coming after the end of the story we already had.
Yeah, because we got the story of Agatha and Nick and Nicholas, or Scratch, whatever you want to call him. But the problem I had was it was 25 minutes
About
of
that.
this
20,
story,
25, yeah.
and I thought it was a little long. If they would have taken this and broken it up, like the back end of this with the reveal of. So let's talk about the episode, and then we'll get into how they.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So it starts with her birthing, essentially, Nicholas Scratch. She's in the woods. She's it's 1750, if I remember correctly.
I thought it was the 1600s.
Oh,
no, the 1600s where she got her power.
When she got her powers from her parents in the coven. I know it's after.
And I'll say this: Agatha only got her powers the way she has them because they tried to kill her.
Yeah.
Remember, her power absorption didn't manifest until her coven tried to kill her. That's when that power manifested first. So I was like, her coven created her.
I mean, it probably lived inside her, like the Scarlet Witch. It probably lived inside her all the time. But yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. So
it's her coven's fault that everything happened for it. It's her coven.
We see how women tried to have babies in the middle of the woods in the 1700s by apparently cutting open a lemon and sucking on the lemon as they scream to cover the sound of the scream. But as she's trying to give birth, Rio appears.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is for the first time.
So
this is probably the moment they meet.
So what is your take on this scene?
So my take on this scene is I find it interesting and great because it seems like Agatha knows who she is, but I don't think she knew initially why she was there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. The way I interpret the scene, because she does say, please don't take him, right?
Yep,
she said, I don't think Rio was there for Nicholas. I think she was there for Agatha. I think she was there because I think Agatha was meant to die in childbirth.
It's very possible. I mean, I could see that being the case. I really think it would.
Don't get me wrong, stillborn babies happen and things like that, but also women die in childbirth due to blood loss, things busting in them.
Especially then in 1700s,
still happens today. So, but that's why I look at the scene. I'm like, I don't think she was there for Nicholas. I think she was there for Agatha, and by her kind of making just don't take him, and it kind of delayed and then it creates what comes later in the episode.
Yep, I can see that. I think Rio was there for the child the whole time because Rio says, and she looks at him and she goes, "Fine, I won't take him now, but it's only a matter of time. I will be back." And I like that. I thought it was an interesting storytelling, and we continue to see the storytelling of it as she wanders around with the baby, and we start to see her killing of witches.
But I say that to the point of I feel it's like by her saying that it was almost like Agatha made a deal with the devil. It's like don't kill because she doesn't understand. In my opinion, again, how I interpret it, she doesn't understand that Rio was there for her, so Rio just made a deal to eventually take her child.
Yeah,
it's almost like a deal with the devil. That's how I kind of looked at it. It was like it's a deal.
I can totally see that. I can absolutely see that point of view. Like I said, I don't think I necessarily agree, but I can see the insinuation, and I can see why you would get to that point based on the things that we saw. But we now start to go through literally a long version of her killing coven after coven after coven.
Yeah, and again, we don't realize like she's killing. I didn't realize she was killing witches at first. I thought she was just killing people to get food to survive. Is what I thought at first.
No,
And
so
it wasn't until she was walking with Nicholas and that he's like, we don't have to kill witches. I was like, oh, she's been killing witches. Oh,
so I realized it with the first set because they take down the protection spell in Latin to allow her and the baby in, and then that's when she first kills. Because the rocks glow yellow and then they glow
Right.
nothing. She walks over and then they glow yellow again. There was a protection spell placed.
yeah, I realized okay, that's fuck because I realized they were witches, but the ones like when she's in the house and like,
Oh
he
yeah,
gets
no,
to
I
take a
didn't
shape.
realize those were witches. I agree with you
That's
on that.
that
That one
okay.
was a little-
I realized the first ones were witches. I get that
Okay.
one because she was probably trying to power up there, but I didn't realize with the multiple murders we see from then on that she was doing power up murders. I didn't realize that at
Yeah,
first
I agree.
until Nicholas, while he's on the road, says something about killing witches, and I'm like, oh, they're all witches. That makes way more sense. You know what I
Also,
mean?
they said witches on the subtitles
I
for
don't
the
watch
one
with
where,
subtitles.
where Nicholas stole something and ran and he runs outside and she kills. There's something in the subtitles that says killing witches or something like that. But again, subtitles ruin everything.
Oh, I didn't watch subtitles, so I didn't know that. But again, uh, Billy was ruined in episode one or two because of goddamn subtitles too, and then
No,
they
no,
fixed it.
it still said teen. It always said teen.
Oh, did it? I thought it
In
said
the
Billy.
in the screener episodes, it labeled him as Billy. It didn't. It didn't do it in. I don't believe it does it in the final versions that we saw. I believe the screeners might have had it though.
My boy Andreas.
Yes, Andreas joining us before we finish for once. It's great. We're not quite at the very end of the show. We got a little bit. We do love Andreas. We hope that he comes and joins us for another Marvel Talk at some point in the near future.
We will get him on.
Once. We get to see coven after coven, but the most telling thing for me in this episode, and I think it's for you too, based on the conversations we've had about it, is Nikki starts singing a song that he created.
Down the road.
Down
the windy road.
Yep. He sings a song to the beat that we know as the Witch's Road Ballad.
Yep.
And over the episode, it's constantly tweaked and changed between the two of them to one, bring people to Agatha to show that she can kill them, and two, to make the money by having this little child pretend that he's this
performing in a bar.
Yeah,
He's performing in a bar.
He was a bard. Leave him be. He's fine.
No, but he's performing in a bar, and I find that it's just funny. He's like 6 or 7 years. He's like 6 years old, and he's performing in a bar. And I'm like, ha. But like, we'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah. I just found it went a little long in these sections to me.
It was a bit long.
Yeah.
But I think when they decided to do this way, I think it's fine to do it the long form version, because at this point you're trying to fill out an entire episode, so you might as well do a long form version. When you make the choice to not have these as slow drip fed stories throughout every
that's
episode,
what it should have been.
I agree. As soon as we hear in episode 3, where they're at the trial, and Jen says that she sacrificed her child, to get the Darkhold. He might be an agent of Mephisto. And then when she hears the baby crying, when the baby cries, we should have gone back to her giving birth.
Yeah, and then throughout, and I think they should have shown like scenes of the things they were doing, but minus the murders, and then come back to it. And when you come to the end here again, you can go to the murders and just show that the completion of each scene of the murder, and then go, and then showing the kids singing the Witch's Road throughout, and be like, oh, did they? Hi, Ashton. And just showing that they created the Witch's Road song, but you wouldn't have realized that it didn't, like, you know what I mean? You would have been putting pieces together, but then you wouldn't have realized it in the same way. Yes, Mephisto.
Yes, we got a Mephisto mention. I do love that. I love this as part of a 3-part series dealing with WandaVision. We've been told by Jack Schaefer that there is a third part of this coming, and it is the Vision series. Will
But
be
she's
the
not
third.
part of it.
I think Jack Schaefer may or may not be part of that.
I thought
But if
she
she's,
exited it.
I don't know. I do know that Marvel has confirmed that it's going to be a third part to the WandaVision series, like this collection of stories.
But not for another 3 years.
It's not going to be named Vision Quest anymore, but yes, that it is the Vision Project now because they've
Yeah.
officially abandoned the name Vision Quest for some reason. But no, I would have loved these stories to be drip fed, but we continue to see the ever evolving portion of The Witch's Road. We see him performing the song The Witch's Road in various incarnations, and then they go to lay down to take a nap in the woods, and Rio shows up and just beckons the child to come forth. And the child comes, and then she stops him and says, no, say goodbye. So he goes ahead and gives his mother a kiss while she's sleeping, and he walks away with Agatha. He walks away with Rio over the bridge, which I thought was a touching little, a bridge, from life to afterlife. She didn't force him. She didn't take him. It was he willingly left with Rio. Just walked away. Yes, sir.
To the conversation, she is no longer with the show. Terry Matalis is the showrunner for the Vision Project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he on any of the projects with the last 2 projects with WandaVision or?
I'm just going off. There was an interview that she did saying she was no longer with it, and she says he's in charge of the character, and yeah, she's not part of it. So
okay. Well, I mean, she's been. All reports say that she's got something bigger planned, as she is the lead, the head and the lead on the Wanda movie that's coming, the Scarlet Witch solo movie that we're supposedly getting. She's been the one to be put in front in the prime position with that project. So if she's not doing Vision to do the Wanda movie, I'm perfectly fine with that, because I think we can tell a completely different story as long as they understand the source material, which is WandaVision, Agatha All Along. Make sure that you do your Vision show in a similar vein. But like I said, we'll get to that when we get to it, because it won't be until at least 2026, if not later.
As far as I can tell, he's had nothing with Marvel.
Okay. This might be a change, like they had said, where they're going to get showrunners, and they're letting the showrunners kind of develop their own things, and they're getting proven television showrunners as opposed to people within the Marvel family who know how to do the Marvel thing. Like I said, there's a lot of
producing the new Magic the Gathering show, so
we'll see.
This new Magic, so we'll see.
So Rio takes the child. Agatha wakes up. She realizes that Nikki's dead. He's still there, but his soul is no longer there. His body is there.
Because we got that scene in episode 8 where she got Alice up, and then Alice saw her own body there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fun. She buries the child's body. She's singing a song to him, again in the same vein as The Witch's Road. It wasn't anything related to it, but it was kind of in that same sing-songy, the Ballad of the Witch's Road kind of melody. And a woman comes up to her and says, "I heard you singing. It reminds me of The Witch's Road. Can you lead me to The Witch's Road?"
I love this reveal right here.
Yeah,
I absolutely adore this reveal, because she goes into her first. So she says, "We need to find a coven."
Yep.
And they get 3 other ladies, and Paul Bettany could, because he gets so much makeup put on him, he can do it till he's 90, and he doesn't have to work out like Hugh Jackman for it. But and we get the first coven, and then it starts going through all the different covens, and there's one in the 1800s, and another one in the early 1900s, and then there's the punk rock 70s or 80s cover, which
The
I
Craft.
love.
It's the 90s, it's the Craft.
Oh, so she's literally the inspiration for the movie The Craft. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I love that was my favorite because she's in the freaking like motorcycle get up and shit. I loved it. I love that the goth get up, whatever you want to call it. I love that.
No, I thought it was fantastic. I loved this portion where it shows up. Yes, so many costumes. The awards they're going to win for costumes, even though, like I said, I didn't love the Wiccan one. Everything else was top notch throughout the entire
Costumes and music, baby. That's what this show's going to win on.
Yeah. We see her lead coven after coven to the Witch's Road, only to antagonize them, and we even see her doing it to her own coven until they realize that there's a door underneath them, because Billy made it happen. Because Witch's Road made the Witch's Road a reality as opposed to a hoax that Agatha was doing to kill witches.
And then she gets that look on her face, and then it cuts back to the room, to Billy's room, and it's Agatha, the ghost of Agatha, and they start talking, and he's like, "Did I create the Witch's Road?" She's like, and she reveals to me, "You did," and it's like, "I was just gonna kill them all in my basement."
Yep, you saved one. She says. He's like, "Did I kill them all?" And she's like, "No." Well, yes, but no, but you saved one at the very least, because I would have killed Jen in my basement had it not been for you and your damn road.
And this is where we get the Jen reveal of her crawling out of the ground and then uses her pink to fly away because her magic's pink.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like I said, I think this was a fantastic episode. However, I just would have loved it spoon-fed throughout the other episodes leading to this point. And again, it would have taken some editing to not tell us the whole thing. But I think you could have done a very quick version of this at this ending and kind of given us what we got in episode 9. If we spoon-fed it out, you could have extended episode 8 another 5 or 10 minutes to give us that finale with him in the basement, where he goes ahead back to the Witch's Road and he tries to banish Agatha.
And this whole bit could have just been a very long post-credit scene, or just could have been the tail end of episode 8.
Yep.
Like, it really could have.
And he tries, and she stops him. She, even as a ghost, she manages to take corporeal form long enough to knock the brooch out of his hands, and then she puts the brooch on, even on her ghostly.
It absorbs into her ghostly form.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Well, if he can't do that magic, he'll do something else." And he makes a gravestone for Sharon Davis.
Oh, I have a graphic for that. Crap. I have a graphic for that. Shit. I found a graphic, but I forgot to put it in. I'm terrible at my job.
But he has a grave, essentially, for the three of them as part of the pentacle, the center of the pentacle, in the Witch's Road. And I thought that was really cool and really unique and really fun. It's a fun way to kind of tie it all together. And the episode ends pretty much right here. This is basically the end where, like this, I think there's a line where they talk about, here we go.
There it is.
Graphic.
Yeah. Somebody had it on Twitter, so I scored it. Yeah.
I think they have a small conversation here after he creates that about potentially having the two of them go off together and be a team. And that would work because Ghost Agatha in the Midnight Suns video game, I don't know if anybody's played it, and it's not necessarily canonic, but spoiler alerts.
I love that game. I love that game.
Spoiler alerts for a game that's been out for 2.5 years. Wanda does something that ends up killing Agatha, and Agatha hangs around as a ghost, and you get to the Agatha teaches you magic throughout the story. It's really fun and interesting, and I love it to death.
But again, it's also a storyline from comics where Agatha, at points when Agatha's been dead, she's there helping magic users accomplish through life.
I know, but I figured I'd make it more up to date by using the Midnight Suns video game because that was more current. And then the show basically just ends. Like, that's the end. There's no post-credit scene. There's no anything to look forward to. Yeah, Agatha Ghost.
Yeah. Come on, she's
Oh, her
gonna win. She's gonna win for that goddamn costume she's wearing as a ghost.
No, I don't love it. I think it's fun. I think it's funny, but I don't think it's a great costume. But like I said, it is what it is. It is. This was a fantastic show from start to finish. From episode 1, and I know you had your issues with episode 1, but I think from episode 1 to episode 9, they nail it.
I've gone back and watched the first few episodes again, leading up in this past week to lead up to this, and I watched WandaVision, and then I was like, hey, I'm just gonna keep watching stuff, and I'm on Falcon and Winter Soldier now. But I when I did a rewatch of the episode, I'm like, I have a more of appreciation for the episode now, because again, I'm looking, and again, I was critical of the episode. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't my favorite. But I like it more since I'm actually looking for things as I watch it now.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is a lot better now that I'm looking for things where I was kind of there. Like, when is this gonna? When the first time I watched it, I'm like, when is this gonna be over and we get to the actual good stuff, right? And you know what I mean? Like, that's what my mindset was in that first watch. Now I'm like, okay, I'm good. Let's go. Yeah.
Speaking of different mindsets and where do we go from here? Where does Marvel Talk go from here? Well, I'm glad you asked, my friends, because this is going to be the Marvel Talk schedule going forward for the rest of the rest of 2024. On November 13th, we will be back. We'll be back on November 13th.
We might have to make an edit because a buddy of mine has a showcase that night for his improv thing, and I might be at that. We might have to shift. We might have to shift
during the week, the second week of November. At some point during that week, we will have the Marvel Talk MCU rebound episode of Civil War. We're back to the rebound for a period of time here.
Yeah, for a month or so.
At the end of November, you can see us doing the Marvel Talk MCU rebound. We've discussed this, and we're going to break release order for this movie because Andre feels strongly about it, and I think it's going to be a good idea. If you can handle the comments while I have this up, because I have to have it up on a separate screen. We have Marvel Talk MCU rebound, the Black Widow movie. The Black Widow movie debuts here because this is where it would fall in the story. I know we haven't done story falling for a lot of these things, but
otherwise we would have Cap Marvel would have been way done. But again, it just the way the story you tell the story, it feels if you watch
feels
it
like
during Phase 4, it feels weird. And I don't want to wait till Phase 4 to watch it because it's just like all the story it tells is it's telling story 2 leading to Hawkeye and other things, but it also tells stories that does actually work well inside of Phase 3.
Yep. We then move on to the second week of December 11th, tentatively scheduled, where we're going to be doing our MCU rebound for Marvel Talks Doctor Strange. We're finally hitting the magic portion of the MCU.
I love that movie. It's again not the perfect Marvel movie, but it's a masterclass of Benedict Cumberbatch just being awesome. Like he's such a great actor, and taking one of the characters that I wasn't a super big fan of in the comic books.
So we're breaking that rule specifically just for Black Widow because it feels weird to talk about it after
Endgame
story. Yeah, where it
when
falls.
she's already dead.
Yeah, so we're choosing to do it here because this is where it falls in the timeline. And because it feels more right to talk about it here. Plus, we wanted to end the MCU rebounds for the year on Doctor Strange, so it works in 2 parts. But you say, Ed, there's one more alternate Wednesday in December. What are we going to have? Well, that's December 25th. That's Christmas Day. And we've got
We're not going live.
We are not going live. We're going to have a pre-recorded Marvel Talk MCU rebound of Once Upon a Deadpool.
We have both procured a copy. We're not telling you how
it was very hard to find, and it wasn't the easiest thing to find. But we found a copy for each of us, and we are going to go ahead and do a review reaction for Once Upon a Deadpool. What is Once Upon a Deadpool, you might ask? The only spoilers I'm going to give for those that don't know is this is a retelling in a PG-13 context of the movie Deadpool 2, while being told to an adult Fred Savage as if he is in a movie that he starred in his childhood. We're not going to ruin what movie is in case you don't know, but it's a
This
whole bunch
movie,
of fun.
I watched it just recently. I'm gonna watch it again before we review.
Yep, me too.
It is so weird watching this without blood.
Yeah,
And if
it's
you
weird.
know what scene I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right in the
it's
middle of
very
the
weird.
gosh darn movie where there is a lot of blood, it is very weird.
Yeah. Fred Savage is indeed amazing in it. We're going to have a bunch of fun with Once Upon a Deadpool.
The Nickelback joke is in this.
Good luck storming the castle. Indeed, we will be storming the castle. That's a bit of a giveaway, but we'll leave it be. However, 2024 is now going to also end slightly differently for Marvel Talk based on something we're about to show you. So we're going to go ahead and go side screen on this one because we've got... I'm feeling pain. I want to see it now. It's tough to find, but if you do find it, it is worth the watch.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link, madame.
Yeah.
I have a way for you to watch this.
So, Marvel, this was at the beginning of the episode of the show tonight. So, if you've seen that, you've already seen this. For those that haven't, one, why are you here? And two, congratulations, you're going to see the Marvel Studios look ahead. This is strictly Disney Plus content. This does not include Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out in February. This does not include the June.
Whoa. Captain America.
Sorry.
Brave New
Captain
World.
America for the Brave New World. It does not include the Thunderbolts in June. It does not include the Fantastic Four in July. And it doesn't include whatever movie's coming out in November in the place of Blade, which is no longer available. There are indeed ways of finding it. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and play this. Me and Andre have both seen this, obviously, but it's a bunch of fun, so we're going to let you see it, and we'll give our thoughts on it after the fact.
I brought you here to offer you an opportunity.
Oh, I smell what you're stepping in. It's gonna get good.
It's been some time, hasn't it? You've come up in the world.
I can say the same about you.
I wonder if your darker half would agree. Exactly what kind of a lawyer are you?
A really good one.
Miss me.
Oh!
I want to build something undeniable.
Anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done.
But for an adventure?
The battle they will sing about for ages.
You can slate whenever you're ready.
Simon Williams, reading for Wonder Man. I was born to play this character. And we both have a lot riding on this. You better not mess this up. I know.
I am ready.
I am Marvel Jesus.
We have a long road ahead of us. Much to do.
Oh my God!
What happened?
So, yes, there is a whole bunch of things going on.
I just want to go through some of the comments. Daredevil Born Again. I cannot wait. That's going to
So
be
good.
heaven.
Cannot wait for that.
And
It's gonna be fantastic.
Punisher back with it, which is so good. Wonder Man. Honestly, I am not familiar with Wonder Man, but I guess he's playing a movie version of Wonder Man in this. I don't know.
So Wonder Man is a character that is an actor who plays a role, who plays a superhero, who is a super. It's very tongue in cheek, and the show's going to be because they've casted Trevor Slattery in it as well. Ben Kingsley is back as Trevor Slattery. Yes.
Oh, that made me so happy when I saw Ben Kingsley in that trailer. I was like, oh my God, yes. And then Mike saying, What if is back? It is, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
Very
it is
sad about
unfortunate. We did. It's similar. I believe it's. I think it's very similar to the Moon Knight thing where we had a character who passed away after filming and whatnot. I don't know if it might have happened during the filming for that one.
Yeah, that's what Matt Ophelia's saying.
The news of the Wonder Man show was kept very, very close to the vest, and nobody had seen anything from it until recently. But I can say from Coy Jandro's live stream today that he says that Yaya, the guy who's playing Wonder Man, the character who plays Wonder Man, is a very big comic book nerd, loves comics, and him and Coy have had lots of different conversations about comics.
Oh, so he's another Kamala then. We're getting another true fan.
I don't think he's as hysterically committed to everything like Kamala Khan, but it's another he's
somebody who cares about it, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, humanoid. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the new name for Spider-Man freshman year. Yeah. It is,
which I think freshman year almost like limits
implied
the show.
Something different, yeah.
Where the plan was to do freshman year and then sophomore year. It was supposed to be like multiple seasons with different name attached, but I just feel like going with the one name, you can continue the series as long as you want. So Deadpool and Wolverine, November 12th, baby.
Disney Plus, Deadpool and Wolverine. If you haven't bought it online, it's coming free to Disney Plus on November 12th.
Yay.
Oh, hold on. I went too far.
You went way too far.
Yeah, I forget this. It's fine. We have dates for the rest of the stuff. Hold on, I gotta stop sharing so that not everybody sees my YouTube stuff. I can pull up a list of mostly confirmed dates. Not everything is fully confirmed. We have confirmed What If Season 3 will be dropping December 22nd.
And it's daily release. And it's daily release. And it has been announced that it's daily releases.
Okay, has it been? It hadn't been the last I had checked. It hadn't been announced. So it will be daily releases. Like last year, we'll be doing it the same way this year. We will be going. It's not that bad.
It's gross, but not bad.
Well, no, my YouTube search history is much better than everything else. My YouTube. I can pull that up. That's fine.
No, we don't need to see your YouTube history.
Isn't bad. Not that bad.
It's like Daily Show. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Big fan of the Daily Show.
It's a great show.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff on there. Restore factory settings. We can also we can confirm Marvel Talk will have either myself, Andre, or both me and Andre.
Yeah, last year there was a couple episodes I couldn't make. There's a couple episodes I couldn't make last year and the toughest one is going to be Christmas Day.
Yep.
Is like I am generally not super busy on that, and I know me and Ed have spoke about Christmas Day. It's not crazy busy, but we're also going to be releasing Deadpool that day, or Once Upon a Deadpool review in the evening on that day. So
we may do a double episode on the 26th. With both the 25th and the 26th. But again, expect daily uploads from us for all 10 episodes of What If season 3, which by the way is the end of What If. It is the final. Yes, it's been confirmed by Disney that this is the series finale of What If.
If we had only been through season 1, I'd be like, no, but I watched season 2 and I'm like, I'm good with season 3 being the end. We're getting a continuation of What If with Marvel Zombies later in the year. So
yeah, we'll get to that. The next thing we have is an animated show, another one, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is more in the Ditko style than it is the What If style. It is a completely different animation style. That will be releasing on January 29th. We've been confirmed.
Yeah, it is confirmed. Yeah.
Early reports had it coming out the 25th. That was actually a typo. Marvel has confirmed the 29th.
I feel like the initial was saying January 25 as in January of 2025. It's probably what it originally. I'm feeling that's what it originally meant. I feel. I don't know.
I was hoping it was going to release on my birthday. That's not the case.
Yeah.
If we are going to do one of two things. If this releases all in one day as a binge version of the show, we will take a couple days, and on that weekend, we will go ahead and do a review episode of the show. If it is a weekly show, we will wait until the end and do one episode to recap the entire thing.
Mm.
If it is a weekly episode, during the releases of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we will also have a review of Captain America 4 Brave New World, which comes out on February 14th. So that means that weekend we will be doing our MCU review. So I'm very excited for that.
And we'll see who we can get to come hang out with us.
Yeah. A couple weeks after Captain America 4 Brave New World, we have Daredevil Born Again. Starting March 4th.
I acknowledge my tribal chief, Daredevil.
Then we have the largest gap in the year from there, because we have to go until late, I believe it's middle of June, where we have
June 24th is the date that it's out there, is June 24th.
No, not for Ironheart. I'm talking about Thunderbolts.
Oh, that's June. Oh man, that's gonna be a tight window.
Yeah. Thunderbolts is planned to release, I'm sorry, May 2nd.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Thunderbolts is the May release. So March to May, we will
What,
go
10,
right into
May 10
2nd.
episodes? They're saying 10 episodes or 9
Daredevil,
episodes?
I believe, is 8 or 9 now. They cut
yeah.
episodes.
So that means that will land. We start on March 4th. That'll land you right at May, which is the Thunderbolts, and then in June 24th, you're gonna get
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
One of the things that I'm so looking forward to is that Ironheart show.
Dude, she was my favorite part of Wakanda Forever. Honestly, Riri Williams is the best. Don't get me wrong, Wakanda. I have issues with Wakanda Forever, and I said this on the review. I think that was like the first review we did for this Marvel Talk. Was
we did one more before it.
What was it? We didn't do that. We didn't do Thor. Thor was that. We didn't
do Thor.
Right.
It is the first review.
Yeah. So yeah, we did our first review, and I had problems with certain parts of the movie, and some stuff is a little bit. No,
Andreas. So the 22 episodes was when it was going to be almost a comedy. It was going to be like a
in the vein of She-Hulk.
Yeah, it was going to be a version of like what She-Hulk was. And they went back to square one and they rewrote the show. They brought in Karen, they brought in Foggy, they brought back Vanessa, because none of those original actors were.
Foggy was originally supposed to be in the series.
Okay, but I know Karen Page was.
But Karen wasn't there. Punisher wasn't there. Wilson Fisk was supposed to be there, but in more of like a goofier role than what we got. Like Echo set him up perfectly.
To a much better show, but it is also not doing a 22 episode run. It's doing anywhere. Nobody knows the exact number of episodes yet. We're hearing anything between 8 to 10 from everything I've heard,
which is far more manageable too.
After Ironheart, late in July, we're getting the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yep.
Shortly after that, a mere 2 weeks after that, August 6th, we're getting Eyes of Wakanda. Eyes of Wakanda is a limited
4 days before my birthday
of 4 episodes.
4 days before my birthday.
I feel
like
similar.
That one's all going to drop in once. That's all going to drop in once.
I would imagine if it's a limited series like they're saying it is, I wouldn't imagine it not dropping all at once. It's just 4 episodes.
Yeah.
We then have a bit of
right. Echo did that. Echo did the all one drop, right?
Yes, that was the one that they just decided they didn't care about and just dropped it at once. Pedro Pascal's me and Andre aren't fully on board with that casting.
I think he'll do a good job in the movie. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like they should have went a little bit younger. And I feel like you're going to be watching this movie and going, hey, it's the Mandalorian. Hey, it's everything else he's ever. Hey, it's Guy from Last of Us, which I haven't watched, but again, I know it. Yeah, and again, I that's why I like the fact that everybody else is like a low, not lower end, but not as well known actors. I got like he's carrying the movie, but
Vanessa Kirby's in it too. After
Yeah.
after Eyes of Wakanda, we get a little bit of a break all the way until October, where we get Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies, I believe, if I heard correctly, is another 4-episode run,
That works.
all by itself, all on its own, as just the zombie stuff. So it's not the same story that we saw in What If. It is going to be a different Marvel Zombies story with different characters portraying it.
Yeah, but again, we were introduced to it. Again, it's kind of a continuation of What If, kind of.
Yeah. Hey, it's the
Who's
guy who
that?
got his
Who are we
eyes
talking
crushed
about?
in Game of Thrones. Hey, it's Master Chief.
Oh, did he do Master Chief too?
I think he voiced Master Chief in the series.
I watched 2 episodes of that abomination and turned it off.
And then we end our year in December 2025 with the big one that nobody knew was coming this year. Simon Williams himself, Wonder Man, is coming in December of 2025. I don't know a ton about Wonder Man. I'm going to be doing my research in the next year before we get there. But based on the stuff we saw, I'm excited. It looks fun. It looks goofy. And more importantly,
Trevor Slattery.
I was going to say, Ben Kingsley is back.
Trevor Slattery, baby. But I look at it. If for any of these series that we're going into in the next year, there is an app called Marvel Unlimited. It's a monthly subscription, and you get access to the entirety of the back catalog of Marvel. You don't get all of the new stuff right away, but it comes out over time.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend, if you want to go back and learn a lot about Marvel and you don't know like characters like Wonder Man and things like that and learn about Marvel, go read the Marvel Zombies book. It's amazing. I would highly recommend that to go check it out.
Yep.
No, was he Moon Knight?
No. He's saying that it was new to him, like Moon Knight, like
yeah.
Wonder Man is completely new to him. It's a version of the Marvel universe that he's not familiar with.
Yeah, I highly recommend hitting up that Marvel Unlimited app because it's not expensive. It's like I think like $7 or $8 per month, and you get the entirety of the Marvel back. There's some stuff missing, obviously. There's certain things that you can't get, but it's those are fringe stuff that you can't get. All the big stuff is there. I just reread the entirety of the Superior Spider-Man run, one of my favorite runs of Spider-Man history. There's a lot of great history in that app. I highly recommend going and checking out. No, $7, like $7 to $8 hairs.
Well, he's saying over the course of the year it'll be around $70.
I think there's a yearly. I don't have it on my phone right now, but yeah.
So that's what we've got coming up. We've got a very busy year. We will not have a lot of time for MCU rebounds in 2025. Apparently, we thought we were going to have a lot of time, but
$10. It's $10 a month now.
$10 a month now. Okay. Ophelia Streamcraft, but she does say that Pablo Schreiber was indeed Master Chief in the Halo show. I don't know who Schreiber is. I don't know if that's just a nickname for Mr. Pablo. But thank you for joining us. We've got a busy year ahead. We want to go ahead and get a little bit of a break for the next week or so before we have to get ready to get back. Remember, we will see you in 2 weeks on Wednesday for the review of Civil War. It will probably be pre-recorded now at this point.
Yeah, I forgot to talk to you about that.
That's fine. No big deal. We can pre-record it or we can push it to sometime other during that week. But sometime during that week, we will have it. Remember that next Wednesday, I will be here with my other tag team partner, Astrid Pizarro, as we talk all things NXT 2300 from the NXT 2300 arena as they go a little extreme.
I might have to show up. I might watch that NXT live that night.
We shall see. But if you want to hear all the things that we've got coming up in the near future, Andre, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me right here this Friday, Japanese Wrestling Update. It's our first live episode in a while because me and Mel are not busy this Friday, but it looks like the next 3 weekends we're going to be busy. So just wrestling is busy, man. Wrestling, there's a lot of wrestling, and We're going to be hitting up some special stuff now during November that we don't usually go to. But so yeah, Japanese Wrestling Update every Friday here on the Marvel are here on the OLE. You can also find me over on my Melbo's YouTube page, youtube.com/@Andrea Melbo Wrestling Talk. Yeah, and that is we have a little bit of issues with some stuff this week, so there ain't going to be much uploaded there this week. Sorry to those who are looking forward to seeing our talk. We will come back next week with a review of the entirety of the Super Junior Tag League and our review of Power Struggle next week. So come check those out on our channel. Just have some stuff stopping us from doing recordings this week. But yeah, other than that, and then check out all that stuff. And then you can see all that stuff simulcasted over at on Backbreaker Media with our boy Mike the Ref. I gotta give him a shout out over there. And then you can actually hear all of our Japanese wrestling content in audio form at A Plus Productions, aplusproductions.com.
Sorry, I messed up the order of those two. I apologize.
I went to Mike first, so
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
For me, you can see a whole lot of me this week. But if you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at edfries12584. If you want to find me on the Twitch, twitch.tv/edfries2002. You can find me on all of those places. This is the week of OLED here at our local establishment. I was here last night for NXT as we did Taking Over. We talked about the NXT episode last week coming out of Halloween Havoc and going into the NXT arena, the NXT ECW arena show next week. You can catch me tonight in, this wonderful show. You can catch me tomorrow as Quizmaster Supreme on the What the Fuck Do We Know About Wrestling Trivia, as I have written the quiz this week and I've put Bobby Munson in his rightful seat down there as a person who has to not know the answer to questions and try to guess. We have 8 questions about a Halloween-style topic in the world of professional wrestling. And I will reveal the full topic once I ask the first question. I will go ahead and reveal the complete topic for the rest of the questions on the quiz. Joining me on that show will not only be the Ring Respect radio crew of Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson, but we will also be joined by on-screen and participating in the quiz, Auntie Collins and Kimmy Sokol are both going to be joining us. And I hear tell of a costume from Auntie Collins, so because it is Halloween after all tomorrow night. And then this weekend, if you haven't heard enough of me already, on Saturday, me and Mark and maybe some other fun friends will be here to be talking about the Crown Jewel WWE show. Who are the Crown Jewel champions? What happened in that big 6-man tag that's going to happen? What happened between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens? You'll find out on Saturday with us as we go ahead live with that. That'll probably be around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as that show starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 11 o'clock for Andre and friends. They're going to be very excited about that if they choose to watch that show.
Crown Jewel?
Yeah, it's a 1 p.m. start time in the East, so that means it's an 11 a.m. start time for you. And then, of course, you can catch me, Mark Talks Wrestling, Bobby Munson, and maybe this guy right here as we go ahead and make our football predictions and see how far Andre and STG can fall on that one.
I blame you for everything, STG.
Is it the Chamber of Horrors? No. The quiz is not about the Chamber of Horrors, but a good idea. Yes, Scoops McGee herself will be here on the quiz. Andreas is saying 11 a.m. I'll be asleep.
He doesn't get up before noon. He's a weirdo. Except for All In. He got up at 9 a.m. for that one last year.
I know. Yeah. Trust me, I wouldn't get up early for a Saudi show either. But it is what it is. And I much prefer afternoon Saturday wrestling to Saturday nights or Sunday night wrestling. So I'm all in favor of these early start times.
I'm also working that day from 9 to 1, so I can say that I'm not watching because of that.
I mean, some of us hard workers get the work in during the week, so we don't have to work on the weekends, Mike. If you haven't, please go check out Mike the Ref. He had a great AEW Dynamite sidecast today. He sidecasts most AEW content and puts out a lot of video game content, as well as helping some of our content with with the Andre and Melba Wrestling Talk. When Ladies Wrestling Showcase happens, it is also simulcasted over there on Backbreaker Media. Backbreaker Media is a wonderful place with all kinds of fantastic content. So please go ahead and give Mike a follow on Twitch at Mike the Ref, or go ahead and find Backbreaker Media on YouTube so you can get all of that stuff after it's aired over there. He is fantastic. The evening and shifts are great, though. Nights and evenings are all right. But that is going to be all from us. I am OLED Ed Fries. This was 2/3 of Andre C. And we're going to see you next time, everybody. Goodbye.